Be to yourself. Stay to yourself. Trust nobody. Trust nobody.
The name of the album. Tell people if they haven't heard the album, how'd you come up with the name of the album? I thought it was dope.
Well, the name of the album came from, it's not Good Morning Gorgeous, it's not anything, there's nothing vain about that. It's a positive affirmation.
Absolutely.
It's something I had to say to myself when I was in a very, very dark situation, because I was never enough. I couldn't please this person. Nothing was never enough. So I was like, okay, maybe this person hates me more than I hate me. So I had to find a way to love myself out of that situation. And so I would get up in the morning, and first thing in the morning, and the reason why I chose first thing in the morning, because nobody looks beautiful or anything or thinks anything about themselves in the morning except I'm awake. And I said, I would say, go to the mirror and say, good morning, gorgeous, good morning, beautiful, good morning, Mary, good morning, something that I wanted to feel good about. And that's where the title came from, me loving my way out of some hell. And that's why I titled the album Good Morning Gorgeous.
I love that interlude. Was that in the studio?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was in the studio with her. I always wanted to work with her. And Lucky Day's a really good friend of mine. And when we got to the session, her was like, well, what do you want to talk about? And everybody just started talking about what they think it should be about. And I was holding back on the title. I didn't want to give it up because I felt so vulnerable. I gave so much away. I was like, fuck it. Excuse me. I was like, okay, I have this title. It's called Good Morning Gorgeous. And everybody's like, oh, everybody's like, oh shit, Good Morning Gorgeous. And I started telling everybody, you heard the interlude, about where it came from. And it's here now, the whole thing, and it's not because of like, I'm sitting around thinking I'm Apollonia, Halle Berry, because they're, you think of them, it's like, oh, they're gorgeous, But it's something I had to say to myself so I can manifest something positive in me, about me, and love and now I love me. Really, really, and I'm like, hey, I think I look pretty damn good, you know what I'm saying? But I'm
yeah. You thought that's just the real love video. What are you talking about?
But I didn't even think that then. You see what I'm saying? So this has been a lot. And then when you get with somebody and then they just take you way down further than what you already were, you start to realize, nah, my life is more important than someone taking it away from me like this, so.
I seen your interview with Ange, and you were talking about you were so low that you had to go on tour to get back up. Because he wiped you dry, so all that was true.
Yeah, so everybody wanted to know what the Rent Money song was about. That's what I wrote that song with the writers during that time, because when I had to pay all this alimony, and I didn't have no money to pay it, I had to go on tour to pay it. I had to go on tour to pay the alimony, had to go on tour to pay the rent, because he had spent all the money. By the time I got to the deposition and saw everything that he did, like I didn't have a dollar left. Like he had spent everything. And he knew he spent everything, but still asking me for more money. So that was about a vacancy. If you can't, Rent Money's about a vacancy. That was about that,
No, when you say no money, like $0, like, 'cause Mary J. Blige broke it probably different than everybody else, bro.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess that's what you want to call it, but it wasn't enough to pay alimony, the alimony that he was asking for. And I had to pay my rent, so, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was a lot that came with that. And I had to go to work, and I think I've been in the industry broke before, like not broke, like, like nothing, but not enough to pay the overhead. We all have an overhead, and I couldn't get the overhead paid. So I had to go work for it, and not that I don't mind working, but it's just,
you didn't want to.
It's just for that, like, come on, son, I gotta work to pay you money. So.
How hard is it, like, to not reach out to your people? Because like you said, you got a great circle, like from the hoes to the Diddy, like, how hard is it not to reach out to them?
I don't like that. I don't like asking people for anything. I have never asked any of my friends for any money. Any of the guys I know, I'm a worker. I get my own. I got it. Okay, cool. Oh, I got to do this. No problem. I just don't want to go to people. I just don't like asking. That's how my mother raised me. Like, don't, if you can do it yourself, don't ask. And I don't. And I know they don't mind. No, I know they would all just do it. But I don't like to feel like I owe people stuff.
But you showed up for so many people. Like, one of my favorite stories is Angie Martinez's book when, she couldn't pay her rent. And you had to check, and y'all had to ride around looking for a check cashing place. It's like you always showed up for people. So you don't expect that in return?
I just don't like asking people for stuff. I really don't. Especially money. Can I borrow? It just feels nuts coming out of my mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Can I borrow, even though I know you got it, can I borrow $1 million? I don't like it. It doesn't feel right.
Do people talk to you in the street like you are really Monet now?
They call me Mo at that. They always call me Yo Monet. I'm like, oh God, no, please, can Mary live? Just let Monet be Monet. Mary be Mary.
We know how therapeutic music can be. What about acting? Does it feel like an escape when you playing Monet?
100%. It feels like I'm killing everybody I wanted to kill when I'm killing. I feel like I'm cursing out everybody I wanted to curse out when I curse at them. She's definitely my therapy right now.
Word. So you enjoy? You clearly are enjoying it.
Clearly, 100%. Thank you, 50 Cent and Courtney Kemp, for this opportunity to just get it all out.
For people that don't know, how did that come about? Did he reach out to you, or did you reach out to him? How did that happen?
It was a conversation that me, Courtney, and 50 had been having all along about how much I love Power. And they was like, we got to get you on there. I said, absolutely, 100%. Just let me know, holler when y'all ready. And they did. And then we had the meeting and we started discussing, I started telling them my stories about, this woman that I've grown up with. I have all my friends damn near Monet. And my mother, without selling the drugs, she just don't play around. So, and pretty much every woman that's a single parent mother, with the husband in jail or dead or whatever, are Monet. So when I started telling them about the story, and who I grew up with, they were just fascinated and adding things, and just this character just was born. Like, it was beautiful.
Well, you acted before, but is it hard to get into character every time you take on one of these jobs?
Monet is not hard to get in. You just find something and go. But
Do you envision people when you pull the trigger? Like,
yeah. Yeah. When I did